If you're tired of losing leads and people slipping through the cracks of your funnel, it's because you've got a weak marketing web. Over Q3, we generated over 100 leads and our following on social media stayed the same, which meant that these 100 leads that weren't ready to buy, that lacked trust in us and wanted more information, were left with no extra help. This is bad business. So we created a marketing web. Now, the aim is to make your marketing web as sticky and as well positioned as possible so that you can retain as many leads as possible who will eventually become buyers. So, today I'm going to be running through how you can make your web as sticky as possible and well positioned. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, well, what the hell is a marketing web? So let me break it down for you. This is a web, okay? Now, each line is a channel, okay? So most businesses don't just have one channel that they operate under. They typically have quite a few different channels that they work on. So here are a few examples, right? You got YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, newsletter, word of mouth, Twitter, X, and events, right? So lots of different ways that you can generate traffic, okay? And that's what these lines do. They're a channel that actually generates traffic to your service. For example, you could also have ads on here, okay? Now, on top of having each of these lines, you'll also notice you've got rings. Now, each of these rings is a level of commitment, okay? So this outer ring might be people follow us on social media, okay? Then after that, you've got more detailed layers of these rings. So let's say someone follows us on social media. After that, they might join our free community. After that, they might join our paid community and then become one-to-one coaching clients, okay? You can see how each layer is a little bit more commitment. It requires a little bit more from the potential prospect. Now, for us, one of the big mistakes that we were making is that we didn't even know what the different rings were. And the jump between an outer ring and an inner ring was too big. So before, what we were doing is that the leads that would come in, we were just asking them to join our paid community, okay? Or do one-to-one coaching. Instead, what we could have done, a much softer and easier ask is, hey, why don't you follow us on social media? Like a particular social media that resonates with them, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is, right? Follow us on social media. That might give them enough information and give them enough time to actually build enough trust to maybe join a free community. You see how that's a much more reasonable step than going from an advert to actually just buying straight up, okay? And it's not that you can't get people to go from an advert to just buying straight away. You 100% can. However, if someone's not ready, you don't want that person to just be like, okay, I'm not joining the paid community. That means I'm leaving the web. That means I'm out. I'm not engaging with anything else you do. You want to make sure that you get people that, okay, you're not ready to join a paid community? Okay, well, why don't you just take a step back? And then slowly but surely you'll come back when you're ready, okay? But if you don't have these outer rings set up, then you're in trouble, okay? So each ring is a different level of commitment. So you might have the question, how can you make your web sticky? And there's 3 things I recommend. Firstly is make your stuff better. I'm making a YouTube video. If my YouTube video is really good, the likelihood of you coming back and watching more of my videos is going to be higher. The likelihood of you subscribing, liking, engaging, higher. Okay? So firstly, it's just about the quality of the stuff that you put out. Make your stuff better so that people actually want to be a part of your marketing web, right? So people actually want to be in your circle. People want to be like aware of the things that you're doing, okay? A really good example of this is Alex Hormozi. I follow Alex Hormozi on lots of different platforms. I engage with his stuff because his stuff is so good that I want to engage with it, right? You want the same thing for your potential customers to be like, your stuff is so good, your stuff is so entertaining, your stuff is so valuable that people are like, okay, well, I want to be a part of what they're doing. I'm going to stick around, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is give people clear CTAs, okay? And what I mean by this is firstly, we didn't even give people any CTAs, right? We didn't direct them towards anything. We didn't tell them, hey, if you're interested in X, or if you're a business owner, if you're looking to solve this problem, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. That's a clear CTA, okay? And that's what you want. You want to tell people what to do. You remember, like you hear this a lot. you want to treat your audience like they're 5-year-olds. You want to basically just tell them, like, look, just go and do this thing. Make it so simple, make it so easy for anyone to understand that they'll go and do it, okay? Because if people don't understand what you're asking of them, then the likelihood of them doing it is very low. If I say, hey, subscribe if you like this video, great. You can just go and subscribe if you like the video. But if I say, hey, stick around if you want to like see more videos like this, there's not a clear CTA. You're not actually telling them to do a specific action. Subscribe is a specific action. Stick around is, what the hell does that mean, right? So give people really clear CTAs. And then the last thing is give people lots of CTAs, okay? In this description of the video, there should be a CTA. In the first comment, have a CTA. Like, have the CTA on the bottom of your emails to say like, hey, make sure you follow us on these different platforms. Put it everywhere. Tell people, do it. And sooner or later, you can hit someone at the right time and they're going to think, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it, right? And that's what you want. You want to have so many CTAs like that people are like, okay, I know what to do, right? Obviously, you don't want to overwhelm them and just constantly like push people towards just buying, right? But if you have really clear CTAs and you have lots of them, it means that when someone is in the web, right, let's say they're on followers on socials, your then CTA will be, hey, you should join the free community. If you're X, Y, and Z, join the free community. If you're struggling with ABC, join the free community, right? Sooner or later, if your stuff is good enough and people are following you and seeing your stuff over and over again, then they're gonna go and do the thing, right? If they're an ideal customer, they'll go and do the thing. And then the thing that you've got to keep in mind as well is that you don't want to just think about CTAs at this level, but you want to think about CTAs for each ring. Like, how do you go from CTAs here to CTAs to here to CTAs to here so that people actually engage with your stuff on every single level, right? So that's how you make your web sticky. Now, the next thing is, how do you make your web well positioned? This is really important. So the first thing that you have to get in the habit of doing is collecting data on your conversions, okay? So from what I mean by conversion is, if we go back to the web, you can see, okay, let's say you run an ad, let's say you've got YouTube, let's say you've got Instagram, whatever it is, how many of the people that actually view your stuff or like your stuff actually go and follow, okay? That will give you data in terms of conversions, right? Now, you can monitor conversions at every single level, and I recommend that you do, because that's going to help you to understand what the constraints of the business actually are. If you're getting millions and millions of views, but no one's joining your free community, that's the conversion that you need to optimize for, right? You need to fix that conversion as soon as possible, right? Similarly, if people are joining your free community, but no one's converting to paid, you need to know the data, right? You need to know where people are dropping off. So the first thing that you have to do is collect data on each layer of conversion, okay? So there's two things to look at for this, right? How many people actually convert? So like I said, if 1 million people watch your videos and maybe 1% of them actually go and follow, right? That's the percentage conversion, okay? Now, alongside conversion from each layer, right? Each circle, each ring, the other thing that you want to look at is platform-specific conversions, okay? So if we go back to the marketing web, and maybe we'll go back to this one, let's say here. So you might have your LinkedIn, YouTube events, all these different things, right? And what you might find is that, let's say this one's LinkedIn, okay? You might find that everyone that joins the paid community actually comes from LinkedIn. But you're getting loads of views on YouTube, right? Or wherever YouTube was. You're getting loads and loads of views on YouTube, but all your customers are coming through LinkedIn. You need to know what platform is actually resulting in the highest number of conversions, okay? So maybe TikTok is really good for getting people to follow you on TikTok and on YouTube and on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So maybe you just use TikTok to get people to follow you. And then maybe use Instagram to convert people into the free community. And then maybe, like, you know what I mean? You can see how you can build out a better picture when you understand which platforms are better at converting at different stages. So that's the thinking that I recommend that you undertake, and also the data that you start to collect. What platforms are converting better at which different stages? Because that's going to help you to understand how you should actually structure your entire marketing web. Okay? Now, the next thing that I'm going to say in terms of making things well positioned is make the jump from one ring to the next as easy as possible. So let's say someone does come from an ad. You don't want them to go straight from an ad to one-to-one coaching. I mean, maybe you do, right? But you don't want them to go to one-to-one coaching and be like, okay, I can't get involved here, so I'm out, I'm done, right? You want them to be like, okay, I can incrementally take more steps. And one thing that my business coach told me as well is that he had 5 people, 5 new clients that he converted over the last month. And he said out of those 5 clients, 4 out of 5 of them had been following him on social, engaging with what he did, and knew the kind of content and the community very well before they joined because they'd been in the marketing web for so long. And this is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you want to make it so that people can just incrementally take steps rather than having to take leaps, because it's harder to make someone take a huge leap than it is someone to take a small step, right? You're decreasing the barrier to entry of people getting to know you by making it easier and adding more rings in, right? So before, we haven't told people to follow us on socials, and we haven't told people to join our free community. We didn't have one. So now, when people do work with us, we can say, okay, just follow us on social media. And we know that if they follow us on social media, there's maybe a 50% conversion rate to then actually join our free community. And then we know from joining our free community, 80% of the people that join our free community within 3 months join our paid community. I'm just rounding off random statistics here, but you can get how this picture actually makes more sense if you take care of each level and you make it easier from the client point of view to not have to throw in like loads of budget, throw in loads of time effort, and they can slowly get to know you and your service. Okay? So that's how you can make your web well positioned. Think about your customer's point of view and make the jump easy for them to say yes. Oh, yeah, I want to know a little bit more about you. Yeah, I want to engage in this free training. Yeah, I want to be part of your free community. Make it easy for people to get closer to you so that when they are buy already, they're in a position where they've been on a journey with you rather than having no journey, and they can just say, yeah, okay, I've seen enough of your stuff. I trust you enough. Let's do this. Okay? So that's it, right? You want to make your web sticky, you want to make it well positioned, and that's the advice that I have for you. And hopefully this advice will take you, and also from our point of view, this is what we're doing to take us from having a web that didn't really get anyone to stick with us to a very sticky, well-positioned web, so we could capture as many leads as possible that will eventually come through and become buyers. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you subscribe, as we're going to be releasing more content like this to help you on your journey of business, to ensure that you're making as much money as possible, to make sure you're getting as much done as possible, so that you can live the lifestyle that you actually want. So hit subscribe, check out the description, and follow us on other social medias as well. And I'm excited to see you guys on the next video.